You are tuned in to another edition of Americana Music Profiles, brought to you by Americana Rhythm Music Magazine and AmericanaMusicMagazine.com. I'm your host, Greg Tutwiler. Let's jump right in to the next exciting interview. Tom Eure's new CD, The Coin, The Prayer, and The Crow, breathes new energy and a revival of spirit into his music. This latest creation is a joyful retrospective of Tom's Celtic and Appalachian influences. Tom is my guest on this edition of Americana Music Profiles. So, hi, Tom. Welcome to the podcast this afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm glad we got a chance to talk this afternoon. You are North Carolina native, is that right?
Yeah, born and raised in North Carolina. Grew up in eastern North Carolina, and during my college days, went to Appalachian State University.
Oh, cool.
Kind of stuck on that side of the Carolinas, and now find myself near Charlotte. So
yeah,
still kind of away from the east part of it. So which is fine, but I loved it there too. So it's a great state. Yeah.
So you've got all of that Carolina music roots running through your blood.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what I think keeps me going. It's I get it from a lot of different sides as far as having lived in all different parts of the state. There's so many regional sounds that kind of happen in North Carolina, and I guess it's probably true for most states. But
sure. North
Carolina has a whole lot of history behind all that stuff. So yeah, I try to soak up as much as I can wherever I'm at, which is a good thing. So,
what got you started on your musical journey?
Somewhere along the line, I kind of realized that, I started playing guitar when I was around, 15. I grew up in the 80s and it was the big metal hair band days.
Yeah.
And, so I would be sitting in class drawing pictures of Warlock guitars and that kind of thing.
Tracing the KISS logo all over your notebooks.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what I was all about, So, so that got me. But my parents said, hey, you can. But I wanted to play bass at the time. I was like, I got to play bass. And
yeah.
My parents were like,
right?
well, you play acoustic guitar that they had at the house. If you play that for a while and learn to do it, we'll get you bass. And so I did that. I played this old beat up, like a Joan Baez special that my mom had or something. It's like, and I learned how to play guitar on that. And then, sure enough, a year later, they did exactly what they said. They bought me a bass, and man, it is not a lot of fun playing bass by yourself in your room.
Yeah, you're right about that. I dabbled in it, and I agree.
Yeah, it's just not the same. Don't.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so I kind of stayed with guitar and did that for a number of years, and started working and songwriting and different bands throughout the years, and then I had kids. We had some kids, and I was home with them a lot of the time, and had more time, and realized, man, there's a lot of guitar players. So I started picking up other instruments, and that's kind of led me to where I'm at now. Just finding as many instruments as possible, and just falling in love with each and every one of them, and digging in. So.
And did I read correctly where you have, in the course of your career, contributed to over 45 different album projects?
Yeah, actually, I've been on a lot of records. I've got a home studio that in our area I record and produce a lot of different acts, including different projects that I've been involved in directly. But songwriters will come in with me and lay down their basic tracks and leave them with me, and I get to add all kinds of flavor to that, and that's been a really amazing journey for me. Just feeling, first of all, people trusting me that much with their songs is a real honor for me, and so I'm real proud to be able have be on every one of those records and have worked with those with all those folks. So yeah, I've been on a lot of records, but hopefully I'll be on a lot more.
Yeah. And so what's your obviously the rock and roll roots we were just talking about, and you kind of find yourself in the kind of the folk Celtic world now, I guess. How do you get from rock and roll to Celtic music in your journey?
A friend of mine started working with the Celtic rock band and said, "Hey, I'm making a little bit of money doing this." And I said, "Hell,
right,
hey,
there's
okay."
the key word, right?
So anyway, he kind of pulled me in, and we worked together for a number of years doing Celtic music around the area, playing lots of Highland games and just having a good time doing that. And in the process, it became so much more than I ever imagined. I absolutely fell in love with the music, and that led me to research my own heritage as well, and find out, hey, I've got a legitimate reason to be playing this music. It turns out I've got lots of Scotch Irish in my family, and so it's just become part of a language or a flavor that I kind of just gravitate towards whenever I'm writing now. I'll be doing something that starts out a certain way, and next thing I know, I'm adding all these Celtic ornaments to the song, and I was like, oh, cool. This has got that flavor too, So, yeah.
I always find it interesting to ask artists that are songwriters some insight a bit into their process, because it while it's clearly a process that's similar in a lot of ways, it's very different for each artist. When you are about to write a song, or you're into that phase of your day, how does that process go for you? Do you, is it something where I'm going to tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock I'm going to sit down and write for a couple hours, or is it more organic for you than that?
Yeah, it definitely is much more organic than that for me. That's never been a strong suit of mine, the discipline part of anything, much less with songwriting.
Yeah.
So for me, I tend to kind of write whenever it comes. I just go with it, and hopefully I can kind of, if I get something that's grooving, I can stick to it and finish it up then. Sometimes I'll put it aside and come back to it later. Usually that I've probably got as many songs unfinished as I have finished, just because the next thing that hits me is obviously in my mind the best. You know what I mean? So
sure, yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got to follow this path. That other stuff, who cares about that?
Yeah.
But so I just it's not something I can force. I've tried to do that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and write this song right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's never brought me songs that I've been happy with for long. I guess is the best way to look at it. It just has to have. There's a certain kind of magic. It sounds hokey, but there's just got to be the right vibe happening, and
sure.
and I just kind of take it as it comes. Sometimes I can have spells where I'm writing like crazy. Once I wrote an entire album within 2 months.
Wow.
And so that was really amazing. I wrote 12 songs, and I said, I'm just going to record these. And so within 3 months, I had went from zero to a finished CD in my hand. So that was an amazing thing. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'll go 3 months without writing anything at all. But the way I look at it is, if you're not writing, you're living. And if you're living, sooner or later, you're going to be writing.
Yeah, that's a good philosophy. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so you obviously do solo work, but you've looking over your press notes, you spent some time with some different bands, including a chance to win a CMA Award, right?
Yeah, and that's CMA as in Charlotte Music Award.
Okay, that's all right.
That's not the Country Music Award. That's no, actually, excuse me, it's not the Charlotte Music Awards. It's a step above that. It's the Carolina Music Awards.
All right, there you go. We're getting close.
So we're moving up. We're moving
right,
up the CMA ladder, I guess.
Yeah.
I work with a band called the Flatland Tourists, and they're just an absolutely fantastic roots rock band. and they really have their own sound.
Uh-huh.
I've tried to describe them to people before, and it's just their sound. I don't really know. It's a little bit of everything, but familiar at the same time, and they're just really great people. So I've been really lucky to be the fiddler for that band, and just be able to walk in with just one little case in my hands and start playing. I like that part. Yeah.
Is that something then that you currently is currently part of what you do then?
Yeah, absolutely. My last several years, I've been more or less playing fiddle for different acts. And I play a lot of instruments, so I try to start out just playing fiddle to make it easy on myself, and then eventually they find out other things I play, and I have to bring all the instruments together.
Yeah.
But at the beginning I can go in a little small car, and by the end I need to hire a truck or something. But I do a lot of different instruments, but fiddle has been the main focus, as I said, because there's so many guitar players, and sometimes you pull fiddle out, and they're like, "What in the world? I've never been around fiddle in real life." And,
Yeah.
What are you talking about? there people are out there like that. Who knew? But anyway, so yeah, fiddle is a big part of what I do, but it happened well after the singer-songwriter part of my life. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that music in some form is your job. There's not some sort of side employment that you use to supplement also?
No, I went to, like I said, I graduated from Appalachian State in like 92, and I just kept playing music. I had a few bands in college, and just that kind of, as I said, I was from a small town, eastern North Carolina, that the idea of playing music for a living never occurred to me, really.
Sure, yeah.
It would have been a great dream, but the reality of it seemed so far away. But when I went to Boone, North Carolina, I was like, hey, there's places to play, and there's people to play with, and so it became possible. So I guess I should blame Boone on my idealistic music goals. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a big part of my life since then, and I haven't, like I said, I graduated with a degree in environmental planning and policies, and just kept playing music. So sometimes it's feast or famine, but the trade-off is pretty worth it.
Sure, yeah, me, so, I understand for sure. Yeah. So you've got a new personal project out then called The Coin, the Prayer, and the Crow. Tell me about that.
This is a really exciting album for me because first it's the biggest project I've put out solo in a long time, and that I'm just putting a lot of effort in behind getting it out there, and the songs in it mean a lot to me, and they really I can't imagine an album that showcases all the different styles that I've been playing over the years better. There's flavor of Celtic music all over it. There's a folk influence on it. There's old time influence. There's you can, if you listen to my fiddle playing, it comes out that I spent 7 years in a Cajun band. You can hear that in the album as well. It's all right there on the record, what I've been doing over the years, and so for that reason, I'm really excited about it. Just being able to share those sounds in a way that it doesn't sound like something that somebody's not going to like. Somebody might say, I don't like Cajun music, or I don't like Celtic music, and so they just turn off to that. But when they hear this album, I hope it's enough other stuff happening that they can be like, well, maybe I do like that vibe. Maybe I should check into that. Or So hopefully, that's kind of what folk music is about to me. Just kind of picking up things and moving forward and sharing them. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Is this the project that you put together with Amelia Osborne?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Amelia was a huge part of this record, and the act that I'm, we have now together. Every time you see the name Tom Eure, Amelia Osborne is playing with me.
Okay.
It's always a duo, and we have a really, really great chemistry on stage. She's got a gorgeous voice. She plays a lot of instruments as well.